Blackness does not equate struggle. Unfortunately, Black folks have struggled historically at the hands of a system that needs the struggle of Black folks to continue. But your person does not need to continue to work that machine. It can unplug from that machine at will.
Tell me say one thing, Nancy, if you understand.
Alright, peace, y'all. What's good? It's your girl. Who is it? It's your girl, Morgan Alexis, and we're back again with another video. We do locks, health and wellness, and Black liberation right here on this channel. And if any of those things resonate to you, go ahead and click subscribe if you are not already. You can follow me on Instagram as well as Twitter. You can visit my website. I am morganalexis.com. Without further ado, let's get into today's video because, whoa, the topic is, it hits here. So let's get into it. I got a question which kind of was like, ding, this is your next video topic. I got a question in regards to how do I become a therapist who affects change within the Black community? The first thing to consider is your own particular biases within the community that you're trying to serve. Let's get into that for a second. If we're all of the understanding that the systems which we live in, we're not of, we just live in it, which constantly and try to influence our own beliefs, is constantly affecting and targeting this particular group. You have to check yourself as a human being who's trying their very best, who's doing their very best. You have to, because you do have formed biases that you may not be aware of, and if you don't check those first, you can do some serious damage when you're trying to help folks. It's being done as we speak, and it's unfortunate, but it's just a part of the human experience. We will project our own biases because we live in our own world onto others, even if we're trying to help them. Everybody holds judgment of something and someone, and if we know that the system that we live in constantly tries to influence us to pit ourselves against one another in the Black community, you are under that system of impression, and if you are not aware of it, you can fall into those behaviors that will continue to divide the Black community instead of unify. So a good example of this is I work with clients who have difficult times feeling like they belong within the Black community. Be it that they're Black, they have a difficult time feeling like they belong. And so with further questioning, I find that this is a commonality with Black folks who are Black, who have a difficult time identifying with their Blackness. Again, this is a consensus with the folks that I've worked with. So I'm not saying this is all people, but what I'm saying is I've heard the consensus is I've never struggled, and so I don't know how to identify with my Blackness. This is what we get to. The questioning we get to this end point is I don't know how to identify with struggle, and so therefore I don't feel accepted within the Black community, and that disturbs me so much. And I think at one point I believed that myself. And so if that's not a bias you're checking in with yourself, it'll do some really harmful damage. To identify with your own people, you have to have had to struggle. This is something that is absolutely false, but it is something that is ingrained in a culture that has been lied to about themselves. So this idea that if you ain't made it out the mud, you don't know how to relate to me, is so far beyond the experience of the nature of Black folks. It's an alien idea that we've adopted as our own, and if we don't know how to check it, we will then continue this narrative. So when we get in front of a Black person and we hear I have a difficult time identifying with Black people, and it's this I've never struggled idea. Either depending on your belief system and whether or not you believe that or not. And again, this was a very subconscious belief that was raised to the conscious with conscious questioning and more exploration. But if you haven't done that for yourself, you will then continue the pattern of that belief, because you wouldn't be able to break down or dismantle that reality for that person. You don't need to have had to struggle to be able to identify with blackness. Blackness does not equate struggle. Unfortunately, Black folks have struggled historically due to at the hands of a system that needs the struggle of Black folks to continue. But your person does not need to continue to work that machine. It can unplug from that machine at will, but it's until you're aware of that ability to unplug, you'll constantly fall victim to it. So that's a very long answer to checking your own biases within the Black community. Now, I'm not sitting here and talking down. I'm saying I had to do this work for myself because, again, the influence is large. The influence is so large. I grew up in South Florida. I grew up around like a lot of Spanish people and white people. I had to really come to terms with the fact that I was really carrying on a bias against my own people. And it was this idea that I was Black, but I wasn't that type of Black. And I was so prideful of this. And so I see this continue all the time. This is very real. That is so harmful if you don't know that it's running in the background. It'll continue to harm others who are coming to you for help. Coming to you to help guide them back to self, and you're not too aware of the biases in which you hold on to, and so you'll kind of guide in a way that helps your belief system continue to run its pattern if you're not careful. And again, when it comes to mental health, you have to be this field, I think it's not talked about enough how volatile this field is. You have to check yourself, or else you continue to do harm to others that you never intended to do in the first place. But I hope this was helpful in any way, shape, or form. I will follow up with this video, maybe with some more tips, because there are some other things that I would like to mention, but I'm leaving this where it is today. So thank you all for watching, and I really hope this is helpful. And please share this if you found it helpful for yourself. And I will see you all in the next video. All right, peace.